But fuck it, let's see what some ordinary gamer has to say. I've not seen this. I don't know what he's about to say. And then we'll kind of dive into everything else as we start to wind this down over the next. I think it's gonna be at least another hour. So hope everybody's ready to check some shit out. You ready?
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen,
I like
we
that
have
name,
a hell of a
Mudahar.
video today.
Mudahar,
Now,
yeah.
this video is all about Ethan from H3H3, Ethan Gila. As you all know, that H3H3 is a channel that I've actually followed since its beginning. I was there for the reaction videos, and I noped the fuck out when the podcast began. I watched a couple episodes. It's fine. But I'm sorry, after how long that podcast has been running, it's just really, it really shows why H3H3 has gone out of touch. The guests you invite are treated like shit sometimes, okay? You have these really awkward cringe moments like Bill Burr. You invite podcast stars like Keemstar, okay, who people don't like, and then immediately go into the comments and say, yeah, fuck this guy, we hate him too.
Okay.
Which is an incredibly...
No, I don't want to drone on. He just made a great... Yeah, he did have Bill Burr on, but he made a good point. He invited Keemstar on, like, pretty early on, and then as soon as Keemstar left, he fucking, like, was like, yeah, fuck this guy, we don't like him either. In the comment section, like, while he was on the plane heading home. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, dude, like, there has been some really fucked moments with this podcast, and the way they've decided to, like, brush those under the table is like, oh, well, podcasts are hard. You know, it's in the moment.
Oh, yeah, no, they are.
They are fucking hard. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I agree. They're definitely hard. We're doing one right now. I wouldn't say it's near the production value, obviously. You know, we're not superstars.
Yeah, we're just
but irregardless, you don't fucking do that. Like, if Blazing Emu 7 just now, who came into our chat, were to come and say, hey, like, we like you guys a lot, and then we go to the chat, you know, hey, come on to our podcast or whatever, and then we fucking like, fuck this guy, guy's human garbage. Like, that's kind of, I mean, we all know Keemstar has a reputation and he's a problem child.
Yeah,
but
and
why
now,
would you even do
in the
that
context
to him?
of like the comments of like fuck this guy? That was Ethan saying that about Keemstar, or Keemstar saying that about Ethan?
No, yeah, it was Keemstar came on to the podcast. And then when he left, Ethan said that in the comments about Keemstar on the podcast. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, like shit talked him, and I'm sure we could find videos of, I don't want to go that deep into it, but yeah. It's a perfect example of like those were things that drove me away, and I'm not even like the hugest fan of Keemstar, or, you know, I don't know, whatever. But
I agree with what Mudahar said, where he said, like, he was there for the reaction videos, and then once he started the podcast, he just hopped the fuck off. And, like, I feel like a lot of his fans have done that.
I think so, too.
Like, it's kind of like in the same sense with, like, I don't know if you know who he is, like, JonTron and stuff like that. Like,
say again, who?
JonTron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, whenever he releases a video, like, garners millions of views, and people always wait for those videos. Yeah, he's had some, you know, stuff that he said in the past that fucked him over, but he took the time and went along with it. Also, by the way, he never made an apology video.
And it blows over, inevitably. Yeah, you get hurt more by it. I mean, we thought we were going to talk about that with iDubbbz and how he made his response to the people calling him a simp, which I think is kind of, it's over at this point. I don't think we need to do that. But what happened is it backlashed on him more than anything. Where if he would have just stayed quiet, he would have been the simp fucking king. You know what I mean? Like, and he could have utilized that. But it's the same thing that killed Leafy is here. If Leafy would have stayed quiet for the iDubbbz content cop, or maybe made like a funny video about it, he would have been fine. He would have been totally fine. But instead, he fought against it. And I've noticed some people don't understand what the iDubbbz video is about when when he's making fun of his chin. He was utilizing the same tactics that Leafy uses against other people. Yeah, and it was totally sarcastic. That's all.
Yeah, and even then, like, he was basically just giving him a taste of his own medicine at that point.
110%.
Like, I understand, like, people's natural reaction is they want to defend themselves. But, you know, if a huge YouTuber who's, like, at that point, I think they were, like, pretty much around the same, like, in popularity, just take it on the chin and fucking walk away.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
for God's sakes, I mean, Leafy did it with the Billy the Fridge kid.
yeah.
That guy. Like he
Oh
made
yeah,
fun of him.
they're buddies now.
The guy made a response, and then now they're best friends. Like, should have went about it that way, maybe.
Well, and I would
Maybe
say
have a whole different outcome now.
undoubtedly Leafy was on the rise. I mean, Leafy was getting millions of views per video. You know, it was pretty impressive. And I mean, not to say iDubbbz hasn't been.
And that was when we were doing our YouTube stuff. Yeah. And
oh yeah, it's terrible.
was,
2016, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that
totally
was also when we saw
frame.
the most clones of Leafy is here, like in the world.
Yeah. And there's still some around.
Oh yeah, no, there's still some around,
and they're getting big views. It's terrible. All right, fuck it. We need to move on. Let's let's
check this out.
Yeah, let's check this out. Oh no, I messed up our video.
If they use it appropriately in our homes.
Where were we?
And we don't really have an end in sight, okay? All we can do is come together and try to survive.
Oh, were we?
Immediately go into the comments and say, yeah, fuck this guy. We hate him too. Which is an incredibly sneaky thing to do. Okay, by the way, I'm just going to put it out there. There's a lot of examples I can put into this situation that I find generally weird about the podcast. And I'm not going to go into it's a boring podcast because, yes, it's boring to me, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who jerk off to every episode that comes out. So it's a difference of opinion. But beyond that, the biggest complaint that I had with that podcast is the ego that comes out all the time. Ethan has went from a relatable YouTuber to a YouTuber that has gotten a massive amount of success, a massive amount of cash, and that's not the worst. What's the worst about it is he's went from all of that humble beginning to a fucking egotistical dude at the end of the day. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It goes beyond the ego, because this video is sponsored by a shitty fucking take. Now, let's just get into it, okay? Now, if you don't know, the pandemic is all around us. We're quarantined.
What do you think about that?
Well, actually, we've talked about this last time. I've had this feeling that Ethan has actually just been kind of putting out videos to just try to ride that wave that he had like 2-3 years, like before he started the podcast.
But do you think he's an egomaniac? Like, that would be my question, because I don't necessarily think so.
I wouldn't say like a lot, but he definitely like, to me, he's kind of coming off that way a little bit, like as of lately. Like, I think it's because, like, you told me the next video that we're gonna watch after this is about 37 minutes, and that's his response.
It's a long fucking video, yeah, and that's kind of an
why
egomaniac thing to do, I guess.
You're kind of reaching for the sky there on that one a little bit, so it's a little too excessive. So I would say, like, he's a little bit out there.
And I would say the intro is somewhat, well, once we see it, that would be a whole nother talking point. But yeah, I would say that intro to this almost hour-long episode of him defending himself is, it's a fun way to go about it. I liked it in a sense. I was like, okay, that's funny, I get it. But it also was like, was it necessary? Yeah, let's keep going here. Let's see. I think there's a lot of talking points. Let's not get too lost.
Quarantined in our homes, and we don't really have an end in sight, okay? All we can do is come together and try to survive all of this as much as we can. Getting out of this pandemic, the world is going to be a lot different than it was when it started. It may take us time to recover, but it is what it is. We're stuck in it together, and we are a team, and we'll come out of it strong. Now, in this trying time, Ethan has had plenty of time to sit on Twitter and morally grandstand and basically spread his political beliefs, as shitty as they may be and as pseudo-intellectual as he comes across. But that's not even my concern. My concern is his donation shaming and how hypocritical it fucking is. And it's something that has actually pissed me off enough to make this video. Now, going into this, if you don't know, Jeff Bezos, the richest fucking dude in the world, okay, donated $100 million. Now, as far as I'm considering this, $100 million is $100 million.
Worth of work.
That is a lot of money that has gone to save lives and fight against this pandemic. You may look at his net worth and say, wow, he donated a tiny percentage of his cash, but that's $100 million that any organization can do wonders with if they use it appropriately.
Bro, he was trying not to burp right there.
Yeah, he was trying not to eat a burp or cough. Yeah, but that I agree with. Like, even though, it's Scott Bezos, like, he can own Disney if he felt like it. like, and still be able to make the money back within the day.
Oh, easy.
So like, yeah, it's like that's a low number for Scott Bezos, but at the same time, it's still $100 million that's now going into, you know, whatever he's donating it to. So it's still $100 million more than what we had before he did it. So
$100 million is not a small amount of money just because it's a small amount of money to him.
yeah,
I think that's
like,
something we all need to get our fucking heads out of our
that's
asses
why, like,
about.
it's still very, like, that's why I do agree with his point on that, where it's is still a lot of money. Like, if someone handed you $100 million, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of fucking money.
If somebody handed me $1,000, that's a lot of money.
So
you know?
if someone handed
like,
me
Jesus.
$5,
hold on, guys. If you have $5, just $5, you're just stop being a cheap piece of shit. Because if you have, if you work, hold on, if you don't work and you just sit on fucking YouTube every day, you've got $5, and if you don't, you're probably just jerking off to our stream. You piece of shit. You should just donate the $5. Sorry, Tom. What do you? No,
and I will counteract that with, if you have $5 and you're sitting on YouTube or Twitch all day, save that $5 and turn it into $20.
Yeah, turn it into 20. Don't listen to the Invader V. It's terrible. But yes, I think bottom line, for somebody to make a comparison, no matter who you are, that say you could be worth $1 trillion, and to say that $100 million is just a small piss in the pot, that's just not true. That's a lot of money. I think that comes down to the whole people don't understand numbers. I think that's something we'll always look at, is like the average person looks at 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000 to 1,000,000 to 100 million to 1 billion, almost in the same light. We've made light of what the size of numbers are.
I think it's more or less stupid,
like, but
it's not that we make light of when other people have it. Because like, like we said, like, for us, $100 million is a lot of fucking money. To Scott Bezos, that's probably not a lot of money, but it's still
I doubt
it.
No, that's a lot of money because he understands numbers. That's why he has the money.
That's why he owns Amazon.
Yeah, like, it's a ton of money to him because he doesn't.
Actually, I think everything on my desk,
it's an easy one,
was bought on Amazon. So you're welcome, Scott Bezos.
Yeah. I've donated at least $100 to Scott Bezos, so at the very minimum, he could donate $100 million to the Orphan Relief Fund or something. That's another thing though too. His money is not the company's money. That's not how that works. Like, personal funds to your company, like, is he donating that money out of Amazon? I highly doubt it.
That's his money.
Yeah, it's his money.
Also,
so if Amazon is worth $100 billion, he might be worth just a fraction of that. I don't know. Let's not get too crazy. Let's continue.